Hello everyone, and welcome to episode 43 of Bonfire Man. Here's how Bonfire Man works. I'm locked to specific chunks in the game. I have to interact with everything in my unlocked chunks exactly once. So that means every tree needs to be chopped, every enemy needs to die, every resource needs to be consumed. When I interact with something, it is exhausted. When something is exhausted, that means I'm not allowed to interact with it again. I'm allowed to randomly unlock a new chunk whenever all of the entities in my current chunks have been so exhausted. When I enter a new chunk, I rest at a bonfire, as in the Souls games. Resting at a bonfire refreshes or unexhausts all of the content in previous chunks that I've already been to. Now I have to exhaust all entities in both the old and new chunks to continue to progress. My objective is to unlock every chunk in RuneScape. According to my estimates, I think that's going to take about 10,000 hours to complete. If you're interested in all the specifics, minutiae, minor rules, exceptions, that kind of a thing, there's a Google Doc in the description that lists all of that. Let's go ahead and get to the playthrough. Today we're unlocking Rimmington, which would have been more exciting if we didn't already have access to a house portal, but it actually is still pretty exciting. Lots of content here, some shops that we can finally start accessing every cycle. Having an archery store and a crafting store in particular is pretty huge. I should be able to stay caught up on thread now if I buy out that thread stock. And there's a shooting star here, which I forgot about when I was summing up the chunk roll last episode. So we won't be able to use the shooting star this episode, but once we complete Rimmington, we'll be able to next episode. So let's go ahead and cross the fog wall, entering. And let's light the bonfire. And of course, let's rest at it. Outstanding. Okay, Rimmington. So yeah, here's everything that we're gonna do here. Now, I have made this ruling kind of in the past, but Anya and Hengel have identical drop tables to a regular woman and a regular man. They're just labeled differently. They have their own names. They can still be attacked and pickpocketed and everything. I actually need to add a pickpocket task to this list. So technically this would actually be an instant reroll chunk because since Anya and Hengel are just a man and a woman and I've already pickpocketed and killed men and women before, there's technically nothing new here. The Witch's Potion quest is new here though, so that is stopping this from being an instant reroll. But just commenting for the future that there's a lot of enemies in the game that are just a man or a woman, or they're a generic human NPC that only drops bones. I'm probably going to count them as just a man or a woman. Hey, future Marstead here, just pointing out that that thing I just said about Anya and Hengel and the Witch's Potion quest is affected by our discussion last episode about quests and degenerate NPCs. So go back and watch that if you want to know what the ruling is. It takes effect episode 46, so about 3 more from this one. So we will definitely be completing this place. Before I start working on it, let's talk about the objectives overview for today's episode. All right, folks, let's talk about the state of the chunk map here. Now, as usual, if you don't want to hear this and just want to get back to the playthrough, click on the time code in the description. As usual, we're going to talk about 100% completed chunks first. These are chunks in which we've exhausted everything there is to do at least one time. Doing so makes those chunks optional on future cycles and also confers some special benefits for a handful of skills. Here are those benefits. We can chop all trees to depletion, we can fish all fishing spots until they move, we can pickpocket all thievable NPCs 28 times each, we can mine shooting stars to depletion, we can run rooftop courses until a Mark of Grace spawns, and we can buy out all shop stocks once per cycle. No change here to these perks from last episode, although we are going to be able to 100% complete the Rimmington chunk that we just unlocked. Completing Rimmington means we'll have access to the shooting star that spawns there starting next cycle, so that's another 2 hours of AFK. So now we have to talk about blocked chunks. These are chunks that we can't 100% complete for some reason. The first reason is quests. Now there's a pending rule change that's going to take effect in episode 46. But this is a map of all of the chunks that are currently blocked by quests. There are quests that start in these chunks that I'm not able to do. The rule change in episode 46 is going to make it so that we don't actually have to complete quests that start in these chunks. We just have to meet these skill requirements to start them. Even ignoring skill requirements, quests will still be able to block us. For example, the Barbarian Outpost chunk we unlocked last cycle, we won't be able to complete for some time because Alfred Grimhand's Bar Crawl blocks access to the agility course that's there, and we need to exhaust that to finish the chunk. So there will still be quest blocked chunks even after the rule change takes effect. Here is a projection of what's going to change on the chunk map after that rule change takes effect. As you can see, about 9 previously quest-blocked chunks will no longer be quest-blocked and don't have any other blockers remaining on them, so they'll be able to be 100% completed right away. I wanted to preview the perks that we're going to get from that because it's going to be a lot of perks coming in on the account all at once starting in episode 46 because we have already done everything else there is to do in these chunks other than the quests that start there. So the first perk is one of the most exciting for me. Making this rule change is going to save us from chopping 745 regular trees per cycle. The bulk of those are the 401 regular trees that spawn in Draenor Manor. Draenor, for example, right now is only blocked by animal magnetism, which we do meet all of the skill requirements for. We just can't complete it because we don't have access to any of the related zones. Back to the perks, in addition to being able to skip 745 regular trees, I'll also be able to chop more rare trees into stumps. We're going to get something like an extra 36 oak trees, an extra 4 willow trees, and an extra 7 yew trees that can be chopped to depletion, which gives us about a factor of 8 times more logs and XP than we'd otherwise get from those trees. Next up, fishing. The 2 shrimp/herring nodes in Alcarid Palace are going to become available, so slightly more fishing XP per cycle. So for thieving, it looks like it's going to be super impactful. It's going to give us an extra 19 NPCs that we can pickpocket 28 times each, but part of the reason we have these special rules around being able to do more in 100% completed chunks is that even with these extra 19 NPCs, that's going to increase my thieving XP per cycle by like 9,000. The extra 7 men, extra 1 woman, and extra 2 farmers aren't going to count for terribly much, but the extra 9 Alcarid warriors are reasonably impactful. That's about 6,500 XP by themselves. After thieving, we have shooting stars, and this is going to grant us an extra 3 shooting stars, which is quite significant. Those are in Alcarid Palace, Champions Guild, and Edgeville Ditch. Like I've said, I think mining is going to be our first 99 on this account, and this is getting us even closer to that. I've even run out of space on the infographic to fit shooting stars down there, so I'll find a solution when we get another one. After mining, there's agility. Mercifully, we will get 1 more agility course that we can run until a Mark of Grace spawns. Agility XP rates right now are absolutely atrocious. I don't expect that this is going to improve too much, but it might make getting to 47 agility to boost to 50 to do the Falador course. It might make that possible, whereas right now it's quite far off. And then finally we have shop stocks. There's a lot of shops in the impacted chunks, but I'm just kind of summarizing the items that I actually care about. From the Port Sarim food shop, I'm going to be able to get some cheese, tomatoes, chocolate bars, bananas, and pots of flour. I'm probably just going to buy those out of recycle because they're cheap and useful in quests and other recipes. In the Champions Guild, I can pick up an adamant plate body that I'd love to throw into Giant's Foundry because that's like 4 adamant bars that are otherwise very difficult for me to get. And then the next 4 items represent the entire shop stocks of a handful of shops. There's the plate legs, plate skirts, and scimitar shops in Alcarid Palace and the battle axe shop in Port Sarim. Again, the main reason for buying these out every cycle is to dump them into Giant's Foundry because I have such a limited access to bars. This represents a pretty significant increase in the number of swords that I can make in Giant's Foundry every cycle. And last but not least, I'll finally have access to 2 refreshing rune shops. Finally, one in Port Sarim and one in Edgeville Ditch. For coming up on 1,000 hours here, I have not really had access to runes for magic training. I've had to make do with the few that I've gotten from drops and the few I've been able to buy one time from these shops in chunks I haven't completed. But once episode 46 rolls around, I'll finally be able to buy all of those runes once per cycle, which should be more than enough to cover me on runes for the rest of the account. So yeah, that's basically everything I'm going to get immediately from the rule change. This is all stuff that probably should have been available to me the entire time. I don't think, even if it had been available to me the entire time, that it would have really changed the current state of the account. Maybe the agility course would have made a difference. But obviously, we can't turn back time. If we do make a rule change, any chunks that have already been completed or in the past, I can't go and make up for the nodes that I didn't do in the past. We're starting from this when we get to episode 46. And one quick note before we leave here, the Edgeville Ditch shooting star, I'm not going to let myself mine immediately on episode 46. The reason for that is that there is a task I haven't done there. I haven't used the air obelisk to make air staves. But I will be able to do that in episode 46, so we'll do it in episode 46, and then the shooting star will become available in episode 47. That sums up all the perks from the pending episode 46 rule change. Let's get back to other blocked chunks here. So skill blocked chunks, we can't complete these due to not having the requisite skill levels to do activities there. We can't build the master stashes because that requires 82 construction and will probably never happen. And we can't run the Falador rooftop course or the Poln of Nietzsche rooftop course. The Falador rooftop course is actually looking kind of realistic now with the Alcarid course being available to run until the Mark of Grace spawns. It's still going to take a very, very long time to get there, but if we just get it within boost range, if we can run it once, that completes that chunk and then allows the Falador rooftop course to be run repeatedly until the Mark of Grace spawns. So 47 agility is a huge breakpoint for now. Polnivneach, probably not going to happen. Really the key to agility training in this account is going to be the Brimhaven agility course. Whenever we roll it, that'll be the most XP that we'll be able to get and might make agility reasonable. But as long as we don't have that unlocked, I don't see Polnivneach happening ever. And while we're talking about skills, just a reminder on Slayer, I currently have a Desert Lizard task that is blocking me from training Slayer. These are the chunks in red where Desert Lizards can spawn, so I'd have to roll one of those. Next up, item blocked chunks. We need a bird snare and a big fishing net to do these chunks in the Soul Isle. And finally, chunk blocked chunks. We can't complete these chunks because there's content on the edges that we currently can't get to. So when we roll the adjacent chunks, we will be able to complete them. That is it for the overview. Let's get back to the playthrough. Okay, let's work on Rimmington. I think I'm going to get called away for a shooting star here soon, so let me at least get something started. I think I'm going to pick up Witch's Potion so that I can get the rat tail to drop, and then I have to head back to my bank to pick up some things. Should be able to do all of this self-contained within the Rimmington chunk. I was reading on the wiki that apparently this used to unlock a separate skill called Evil Magic. There is Evil Magic and there is Good Magic. We'll go ahead and kill this rat. Under normal circumstances, they don't drop anything. Let me tag it. Rat's tail. Okay, now I need an onion, burnt meat, and an eye of newt. So I'm just gonna head over to a bank. I should have all of that in the bank. All right, I'm back with the materials for Witch's Potion. Go ahead and turn it in here. One of the fastest quests in the game. 325 magic XP. The quest point, I guess, is important. So we're getting there with free-to-play quests. That's kind of nice. All right, other tasks to do here. Everything. So I'm just going to start working on it. I guess I'll go do the mining stuff because I have to bank that. I think files here can also do noting and unnoting, and this might be a better spot for me to train construction, so I might end up moving my house here. I guess the main reason to move my house here is just it's a more convenient teleport. Like being able to teleport to Polnivneach, who cares? I already have a pretty easy way to get to the desert with the dueling ring, so I probably will move my house back to Rimmington. I think it'll just be nice going forward. All right, all the mining's done. I'm really grateful that we're going to be able to complete this chunk because there's so many trees here. I'm so sick of trees. I just want it to be over. Also, I mentioned this last episode, but the chemist's house is actually in the next chunk. So the reason I care about that, I do want to be able to get to the chemist. Being able to finish making a bullseye lantern will eventually let me do Tears of Guthix. But to do Tears of Guthix, I also need like 43 quest points. So I have a while to roll that chunk, but it is an important chunk to roll long term. Shooting star just dropped, so I'm gonna head in that direction. It's a West Lumbered Swamp, so I was already headed over there. All right, gonna sit at the shooting star and get some work done, and we'll get back to clearing Rimmington. Well, that's nice. I got a clue step in Rimmington from this thing, so I'll do that after the star is mined. My main is here, helping me mine it down. Mining 81. Trying to get as much Stardust out of these as I can. All right, finished mining. Did pretty well on Stardust. I'm gonna go do this clue scroll and see if another star spawns. Well, sadly, I can't do the second step of that clue. Oh well. I'm gonna pickpocket and kill Anya and Hengel here. I'm about to find out whether they get different entries. They do not get different entries. Thank God. I didn't want to have to track them separately because they're basically just a man and a woman. We'll see if they might get a different entry when I attack them though. They do get unique entries when attacked. All right, I'll leave it separate then. All right, got a tier 8 star here in East Swamp. All right, shooting star has fully disintegrated. I'm gonna go do, I got a medium clue scroll that I might be able to do here. Holy moly, step 2 of a medium clue. Never been able to do a medium clue before. Probably not going to be able to, but I'm gonna go check it. All right, moment of truth. Can I do the third step? Probably not. No, I can't. Hey, so I am going to go finish up Rimmington, but I'm anxious to pick up my fighter torso. So I'm going to go do that real quick at Barbarian Assault and do all the tasks that I have to do there. Okay, here we are. Penance torso. I'm skipping the low gamble, the medium gamble, and the high gamble. I have a task for that. Skip gambles for torso. And I skipped the medium gamble last cycle, which leaves me with enough points across all rolls to afford it. So here we go. Penance torso. I can't do any more Barbarian Assault. I can't redeem any more honor points this cycle based on my rules. Amazing. I feel like I should wear this with the rest of the like Dark Wraith set. It's pretty ridiculous looking. Cool. That's a pretty big upgrade. I'm going to use that for all of my PVM this cycle. Let me go ahead and actually do There's a decent amount of stuff that I can do here while I'm here, so I'm just going to chop all these trees and kill the one barbarian that I can get to. I think I'm going to go ahead and move my house back to Rimmington. I don't think it's doing me any favors in Poldham Niche. I have all the features that I want, and this is a more useful place to be able to teleport to. Just being able to teleport to Rimmington here is really helpful. I'm going to come back to Barbarian Assault later. I forgot I had all this crap on me for like building a stash and the like. I want to have some more inventory space. I think I can build this and fill it. Stash built and filled. I already did the mining tasks. I guess I'll do the gathering tasks. Stuff that's going to require me to like bank a bunch is probably what I should focus on. Over here gathering wheat. It's about time that I just start using teleports willy-nilly. I have tons of law runes in the bank. Yeah, 266 law runes, and I get plenty per cycle. I have this like terror of using them from, you know, several hundred hours of them being very precious and rare, but the Rune Doku shop that we unlocked from completing the feud, I feel like that's actually one of the most important unlocks for the account, even though I didn't think much of it at the time. We're pretty set. So what I'm talking about here is, you know, going to Ferox Enclave, refilling my energy, and then teleporting to house to come back to Rimmington. And just doing that a lot, doing stuff like that more frequently. I very infrequently use law runes for teleports, and I think I'm going to change that up starting now. It's a much easier wheat field than some of the ones I'm used to. Oh, there is a willow on the chunk border here. I'm going to go ahead and chop it because I can definitely reach it from where I am. Another one of those fun, inaccessible trees. I'll have to adjust the count for that. All right, buying out some of the shops here. I think from this shop, the only thing I really care about is the bowls and the pots. It's nice that there's a refreshing source of empty bucket packs because I can't keep buying them from the Thalador farm shop forever, but now I can basically set on buckets forever. Let me go ahead and pick these up here. I'll mark the general store complete, and then we'll look at the other ones. Here, I'm just going to buy out all the thread, and I'm going to do that every cycle. Done the crafting shop. Finally, I have a source of infinite thread. Well, not infinite, but a refreshing source of thread, I should say. And then, this is a harder call, right? Like, buy them all for 30k, the steel arrows, 47k for the mithril arrows, 89k. It's nice to have this, but honestly, I feel like Last Man Standing should be my source of arrows forever now. I might go ahead and buy out the steel arrows and just do it hop every, you know, so many purchases. It looks like I can buy 50 of them. Have this little plugin that summarizes the cost of buying stacks. Wow, it doubles instantly after buying 50? That sucks. I guess I could hop a whole bunch of times until I have 1,500 of them. I'll do that once. I don't know if I'm going to do that long term. If I'm getting like 2,400 adamant arrows per cycle, I'm hoping that's going to pay for all my PVM. I mean, part of what I want to do is conserve adamant arrows until I have so many in the bank that I feel comfortable potentially wasting a lot of them on fight caves attempts. Yeah, I guess I'll hop until I have bought this one out. I'm probably not going to bother with the mithril or adamant stacks, though. I don't think they're worth the money. Okay, I ended up hopping enough times to buy out all 1,500 arrows. It might be worth it. It'll make me feel confident. I guess I'll probably end up using those for range training just to hold on to my adamant arrows for longer. The shops are done. I can't actually do the shooting star until next cycle. Once we finish this one, I'm going to go ahead and chop all the trees and kill the goblins here. All right, Chunk Picker says there should be 12 goblins here, but I've killed all the goblins I can see. That's the auto marking plugin. Unless if it is able to wander really far. I guess that one's able to wander pretty far. Cannot find the 12th one. Let me check what the wiki says. Oh, you may have spotted it. It's in the Port Sarim shop over here. Fortunately, I can actually go there. We're running around with runes on me, forgetting I went to all that trouble to get a rune pouch. I'm just so used to not having teleport runes with me. I think I'm just going to keep all this in my rune pouch all the time. So I quickly want to see what, if any, benefit the fighter torso has right now for me for max hits. So with the rune sword and amulet of power and the fighter torso, I have a max hit of 16. If I equip the amulet of strength, it doesn't change anything. If I equip the shade robe top, it drops my max hit. So it does give me a max hit with the rune sword. And basically allows me to use the amulet of power. Okay, that's cool. Colossal blade with the amulet of strength gets me up to a max hit of 25. If I go full strength, I can get a max hit with the colossal blade. If I use the amulet of power, I can get a max hit with the rune sword. That's pretty useful. Oh, these enemies wander down here. Might actually be worth killing. I think they have a pretty high drop rate for different talismans. I wasn't planning on killing them, but I'm allowed to kill stuff wandering into my chunk, as long as it's able to be fought here. I guess I can also talk to Malignus, which is good for quests, potentially, if I don't actually roll this chunk. Kill this water wizard. I had no idea that they were so close to the chunk border. A really cool death animation. See how many of them I can get. I don't know if they all cross the chunk border. Water and air definitely do. Alright, the earth one definitely wanders down here. I still can't tell if the fire one gets close enough. He might move right up to the boundary. We'll see. Alright, just doing a quick sanity check, but I think we've done everything we can do here. Victory achieved. I might try to plink the shooting star one time if I'm able to notice one spawn before the end of the cycle, but I don't think that's necessary to mark it done. We can do it if it were here. That is excellent to have this chunk complete. I can skip all these 103 trees in the future. I can deplete the oaks. I'm going to be able to deplete the shooting star, and the shops are going to come back with all their stock. So this will be really, really nice. It took me a while to complete, actually, but now it's on to everything else in the cycle. Let's get on it. I did find a shooting star just by hopping. So yeah, we'll go ahead and tap this, and then we'll say victory achieved. And hit it once. There we go. Victory achieved. Doing a shooting star over here. Okay, finished mining that star, did pretty well. 2,500 stardust. I also got a mystery box while I was mining it, and it has a easy clue, which I can maybe do. I'm going to try to work on that before the next star spawns. Made it to step 3, and it's in Hosidius. Oh well. I'm going to keep my ear to the ground for the next shooting star. Got another one in Alcarid. Well, unfortunately, 2 other people showed up here, and they're... Yeah, I didn't get very much time out of this one, unfortunately, because of the people showing up. Got a tier 6 star here. I'm gonna start working on it. Unfortunately, 2 other people showed up, so I'm not going to get a full 2 hours out of this one, but this hasn't been the best cycle for that. Last cycle was really, really good. All right, on my second to last star here at Mage Training Arena. Mining, 82. Okay, I was actually able to mine that star to depletion. And I'm going to be taking a very long break. It's the end of the year here in December. We've got family coming over, so I probably won't be playing for another couple weeks. I'll come back and do the last star, though, in Soul Wars. From your perspective, that will happen in a couple seconds. I'll see you soon. Bye. So I didn't think I was going to be able to do this quest because she's technically in the other chunk, but she does walk close enough that I can talk to her without leaving my chunk, so that's cool. Well, didn't matter. Third step is Falador Park. Doing a tour of the game world, chopping oak trees. Just got my first bird nest with an egg in it. I can't use this for a long time until we get to the Woodcutters Guild, but that's cool. Okay, I am back from a very long break. I said I was going to take a break for a couple weeks. Ended up being about a month since I last played. So my videos on YouTube are starting to catch up to me a little bit. I'm going to have to get a little bit harder on the grind here. I did mine the final shooting star. Yeah, the Soul Wars shooting star. I did that on mobile, and it was really inefficient. I barely got enough Stardust or enough XP out of it because I kept disconnecting because we had people over. So anyway, getting back on the wagon here. I guess I'm going to start working on just regular mining because I haven't done that yet. All right, checking our first pay dirt sack for the cycle. Let's see what we get here. 3. That's pretty good. We want to get 1 per deposit on average. All right, here's pay dirt check 2. 2. Okay, not as good, but still doing okay. See how many total golden nuggets I have. Getting access to the upper level and being able to 100% this chunk is going to be completely insane. Just, it's going to blow everything wide open once we can do it. Especially because Jagex recently announced that they're going to be expanding, or at least they pulled it. It's probably going to pass. They're going to expand the number of veins down here, which is going to be huge for me. I think they're also going to change the way a bunch of the veins work. So potentially amazing. I have 26 golden nuggets, so we have a really long ways to go, but it's going to be great when it happens. I got confused. I didn't realize that the wheels at the Motherlode mine were broken. So I just had ore delivered to the sack after I teleported out and came here to start doing pure essence. So I'll have to head back there later and pick up that last bit, or I could just save it for next cycle. It doesn't really matter. We'll see. Got a genie lamp here while I was chopping trees. I'm gonna go ahead and put it on Hunter. It should give me a level up, I think. Yeah. Hunter level 15. I think 2 more to go. Still working on chopping wood. I just got a medium clue scroll that requires a Staff of Error, a bronze helm, and an Amulet of Powers, so I'm very happy that I have all 3 of those. Probably not going to get any further in the clue. I still haven't been able to really have luck with medium clues. Actually used up all my bronzeful helms, so I'm going to go craft one real quick at the anvil down here. All right, giving it a try down here. I'm not going to store it because I need the amulet of power. Might want to later, though. This is only the second step, so I'm probably going to have to drop it. Yep, Birthorp. Got 43 zeal. It should be one more game, I think. Another 48 zeal on my second game. Let's see what we get. Okay, 3 spoils of war. Hoping for coal as usual. Nope. Nope. I'll take nature runes, 288 nature runes. It's pretty good. We're going on Tempoross here. We'll see how this goes. I'm a little rusty because it's been a month. Yeah, I think I got this down. Even after a month of rustiness. First try, I should get 10 reward permits here, I think. Oh, Tempoross champion. Oh, that's for getting 10 kills. Okay, cool. And I got 10 permits. Nice. Okay, let's watch all the rewards here. Oh! Oh! That's less useful for me? But that's still really exciting. I have to look into how exactly this guy works. Fish barrel, awesome. Actually having this does matter, because my rule with fishing spots is that I can fish them until they move, right? And practically that means I can fish them until my inventory fills, and then by the time I bank and come back, the spot has moved. But now theoretically, for fish that I can catch very quickly, like salmon and trout, I could bring the fish barrel with me and potentially get a few more fish out of each spot if I wait to start fishing them until the moment they move. So this is potentially pretty impactful. That's like a 1 in 400 drop. Honestly, pretty excited that we got that. That's really cool. Okay, so I'm going to try using this fish barrel here. The strategy is to wait until I see one of these move and then start fishing at it as soon as it moves. And I'm bringing spirit flakes to these. Historically, I've only ever used spirit flakes at lobsters, but now that I might actually be able to fill up twice of an inventory, it's going to be worth trying to use them. So we'll see what happens. First attempt at this is looking pretty good. I'm going to fill the fish barrel as soon as I have 1 empty slot left and then just recast. Yeah, perfect. And just hit 63 fishing. I think I'm actually pretty easily going to get a full inventory here. I might be able to do this even without spirit flakes. I'll try the next one without spirit flakes just to see what the difference is. Yeah, the catch rate on these is fast enough. I don't even need spirit flakes. It might still move before I fully fill my inventory, but I have a completely full fish barrel right now. This is a pretty big upgrade. It effectively doubles the amount of fishing XP I can get from most normal nodes, not all normal nodes. Pike, for example, I don't ever fill up an inventory. Okay, Pike didn't happen. Even with spirit flakes, I barely filled 1 inventory, let alone 2. But I guess I can use the fish barrel to just do the second inventory without having to run back and bank. This is a bummer. I got an easy clue scroll. Third step requires a turquoise robe, which I will not be getting for a long time. So 62 thieving. Nice. Working towards 65. It's probably going to be another dozen episodes. It's real slow. Okay, I finished up all of my main skilling tasks. Woodcutting, fishing, thieving, and mining are done. I'm going to do this agility course and really hope we get lucky this time with the marker grace. Well, agility 39. Still haven't had a marker grace spawn. It's about 8 laps in. Well, I'm 13 laps in. That's pretty good. Oh, it spawned. 15 laps is pretty good, though. 20, I think, is our expected average, so I'll take 15. That's a decent amount of agility XP there, about 1,800. Got a genie. I'm going to throw it right on Hunter. Here comes a runecraft level. 44, 11 to go. It's the big number we need. I just want to hit the quest cape for runecraft. I don't think I have any other long-term objectives for it, really. It would be nice to craft nature runes. We might roll that chunk someday. Over here getting my grizzly bear kills. And accidentally pathed into this chunk because one of the bears ran away from me. Undercurrent I unlocked as a music track. I just got the 100 silver ore drop from Mammoths. I think that's just a rare drop table thing. I got it one time from Ziliana and wanted to die. Hey, it's a genie. Hunter? 16. I think we need one more hunter level. 270 XP to go, so yeah, I think it's going to be 2 more XP randoms. I've been really lucky on XP randoms lately. What am I? Nice little string of genies there. Okay, exciting milestone. About to get 80 strength. Yeah, strength 80. Cool milestone. I'll probably stop reporting this casket every time I open it, but it's, you know, still a pretty significant, exciting selection of runes. Buy all the runes for 46k. Sure. think I slightly screwed up this poll, but I might be okay. So I'm not having to do the 2-account method. We'll see what happens. But one of the things I was waiting for was for them to add the dragon pickaxe to her drop table. I'm probably never going to get it. I don't know if I'm going to ever kill her 400 times outside of maybe a Calphite Slayer task in the distant future. But there's a chance. There's a chance. That would be pretty nice. Looks like I'm going to be able to get to phase 2 okay, even if I screwed up the poll a little bit. Well, somebody came in the room and distracted one of the guardians, and I died. I guess I'm going to have to deal with it being more popular now due to the dragon pick. I guess people don't pay attention to see that little lantern is on. It's always annoying that that happens, like, right when I get to phase 2. Also, Limpward is streaming right now, so there might be people intentionally trying to troll him. Okay, I got a second poll. It's hopefully nobody shows up for this one. All right, back to phase 2, just about here. It was about a 20-minute total time loss from that person walking in the room on me there. So it could have been worse. I'm gonna get an attack level on this boss, which is funny, so I'm just gonna let it record, and I'll call it out when it happens. I mean, I'll edit out the part where I miss a bunch of times first, but... There's level 65. That took a really long time. Okay, Calphite Queen, dead. What we get? Super Combat Potion and a Rune Knife. No D-pick. Okay, I'm nearly done with the cycle. I have to do Last Man Standing, Giant's Foundry. Okay, here at the Giant's Foundry, I ended up making 2 Adamant Mithril Swords and 4 Bronze Iron Swords. I ended up getting about 66k smithing XP from all of that. I'm just going to keep buying these smithing catalysts. I think it's the smartest thing to do. Wasn't able to afford quite as many catalysts that time, only about 47. I think I'm just going to stick to only ever making mithril bars and adamant bars when I have these catalysts. So, and I'm going to try to save coal. You know, I could have used it to make a handful more bars, but I don't think it would have been worth it. I think I'm also going to start saving items that I can feed into the Crucible until I can get an entire bar out of it, like an entire sword out of it. So I'll wait till I have enough for 14 bronze and 14 iron, I guess. Save steel for the same reason. Decided to pop over to the construction grind instead of Last Man Standing so that my supply tracker will be right. Carved oak table should hit 57 construction. There it is. I don't think we have anything for a while until we get access to teak. All right, since I'm remembering this cycle, here's the supplies tracker before I go into Last Man Standing. This is completely accurate. I've used way more law runes than I usually do just to make my life a little bit more tolerable. Actually using some like Varrock teleports and house teleports, that kind of a thing. Also used a ton of teleport jewelry. 28 charges of Rings of Dueling, which has been very useful both for restoring run energy, prayer, and just kind of getting around, going to the desert. So we're going to do Last Man Standing. That's all that's left to do. And then we'll sum up. All right, starting to do these LMS runs. See how it goes. All right, I'm down to like 3 survivors remaining. So this is a good first run. All right, 4 points in the first game. Got second place. Just one more. I got to second place in this game too. I'm definitely going to lose. I don't have enough food or anything. Oh, the person I was up against just decided not to fight. I guess I won and got 5 points, so a total of 9 that cycle. All right, I won't complain. Second win. I don't know what was up with that last person. That was pretty funny. Okay, so like I said last time, I'm just going to be dumping everything onto adamant arrows, and I'm going to start using adamant arrows for range training once I get to my attack and defense goals. So the goal is 73 attack, 66 defense, I think, and then we'll switch to range, and I should have a healthy stock of adamant arrows from buying these every cycle. That was definitely the quickest Last Man Standing's ever gone. 26 minutes getting the first kill and then hiding in the corner. All right, it's the end of the cycle. Let's talk about our summary here. I guess we'll start with time played. 40 days, 18 hours. The live split timer this cycle was really fast. 39 hours and 46 minutes. I think it's just a combination of not having to do Barbarian Assault, which was a big chunk of the time taken last episode, and also just efficiencies in combat. The fighter torso is a little bit more strength, so is the accuracy bonus from the Amulet of Power, so I was able to kind of focus on combat a lot and didn't really do any external grinding. I didn't do any like cooking or fletching or anything like that. Looking at the task list summary, here's wood cutting. I chopped all these logs. If there's a check mark, that means that it was depletable. Fishing, thieving, mining. Going to be adding a new star here for Rimmington next cycle. Runecraft, farming, agility, sorceress's garden, construction, shop buyouts. Technically, I could also add the higher tier arrows from Rimmington, but I'm just going to be doing the 1500 steel arrows. I skipped the gambles, obviously, in order to get the torso, so we'll start. I probably have to run a little bit more BA next cycle in order to get my points back up. But there's a couple more items I'm going to be saving for. Block tasks, I still can't do any of these, and it's a ways off for all of them. Error tracking, I fixed overmining pure essence last cycle, fixed overkilling wizards, catablepins, and chickens. I did make a new mistake. I think this is just related to having a long gap between sessions. I completely forgot. Hengel NPC in Rimmington just counts as a man in the loot tracker, and I guess I got confused and ended up over pickpocketing a guy. So I got a lot of pickpockets to fix up. I think I just also failed to tag one of the NPCs and wasn't watching how many I had pickpocketed. So it's a bigger than usual mistake, but you know, it amounts to very little thieving XP. I'm just going to skip those next cycle. Optional tasks. This is probably part of the why this cycle went so much faster. Skipped most of these this time around. All right, here's the XP gain for this cycle. Pretty solid. Mining XP is really starting to blow up with all of these shooting stars. It's going to get even crazier next cycle with access to Rimmington. We might actually hit 99 mining on this account in a reasonable amount of time. It's going to be sad because I'm going to run out of AFK. I might keep mining past 99, keep doing the shooting stars just for the crafting XP, and I guess the AFK so I can edit videos, but we'll see when we get there. The rest of these numbers look pretty typical though. Let's look at the delta. So this is the comparison of the amount of XP we gained this cycle compared to last cycle. Right, so attack is up and strength is down a bit because we switched off of strength at the end of the episode. More trees to cut. Wood cutting is a little bit variable because, you know, I can chop a bunch of trees until they turn into stumps, and whether they stump early or stump late is very random. Same is true for fishing. I got quite a bit more fishing this cycle because of taking advantage of that fish barrel from Tempoross. So we'll see how much we get to continue to take advantage of that. Agility, we had an unusually good cycle at the Draenor Agility Course. Took a long time for that Mark of Grace to finally spawn. As far as upcoming XP thresholds that we care about, 85 mining for rune ore. It still won't let us finish the mining guild. We need to get amethyst, and I guess technically the Falador Elite Diary, so I don't think we're finishing the mining guild ever. I guess 79 smithing is a new mold at Giant's Foundry. I would love to get eventually to 50 agility. I think once we finish lamping Hunter to 17, I'm going to switch back to lamping agility to try to get us there so we can finish the Falador rooftop course. 65 thieving for the summer garden, and not too much on the horizon. I am going to start including this in the objectives overview. You've probably been hearing it for a while, but I'm currently blocked by a lizard's task for Slayer, so chunk rolls lizards, that would be really nice. All right, let's look at the loot tracker. Slow scroll here. This last bird nest is from an acorn that I planted, chopped down. Generally looks pretty good other than having too many pickpockets on men. Already showed you the supplies tracker. Let's look at random events. Here you can see how long of a break I took too. All right, here's the bank. New to this cycle, we got a bird's egg, the fighter torso, which is very exciting, the fish barrel, which came in way under rate. I think it's like 100 ticket pulls, and it's like a 1 in 400 drop, so that's a really nice one to get, and it's unusually impactful for this account. I'm just going to keep my rune pouch stored here, and I'm probably just going to keep this set of runes. I'm going to start using teleport runes way more frequently, I think. 25 P++ rune knives, which I don't know that I'll ever use. Maybe if I fight a boss where I really need that extra poison on it. And a U seed. All right, and let's scroll through the bank. Cool. Let's look at the bank delta. So yeah, even with me using tons of law runes this cycle to teleport around, I still came up plus 46, and that's mostly thanks to the Sudoku game that we can do now thanks to completing the feud. Now, I haven't shown y'all music tracks in a while. It's a lot of scrolling that I'm guessing 90% of you don't care about, but if I just show you everything that I've unlocked, you can quickly see where I have and haven't been. There's a handful of chunks where I've been drawn into the chunk boundary and unlocked a music track, but in general, there's no funny business going on here. Okay, I think that's all there is to cover. Let's get to the chunk picker. All right, here's our chunk picker. You've heard me talk about most of these in prior episodes. I guess I should also include that Korend is over here, so that would be cool to roll those. As far as what has changed in this episode around Rimmington, this chunk, Melzar's Maze itself, is a reroll. The maze I think I can get into, and there's nothing interesting in there. These all kind of degenerate to regular enemies. Yeah, although Melzar's Maze is needed for Dragon Slayer 1, there's nothing new in the chunk that we've never seen before. So if we were to roll that, it would be a reroll. I guess I should note that there is a lamp still here. Since rerolling is based on access to new exhaustible objects, this is a reroll. And then down here, Port Sarum Church is a quest. Skippy and the Mogres. Yeah, it's just barely starts there. So that would unfortunately not be a reroll, even though the rest of the chunk is kind of boring. I guess there's a trading post that we can get to there. So, but I do think that that's over here by Musa Point. So I guess we wouldn't actually be able to take advantage of most of that. Everything else we've talked about. Gold is good. Silver is good. Bronze is good in that order. Crown is the best. Star is the second best. Heart is the third best in that order. I really want Taverley. Taverley would make me happy. I need to get 2 chunks to get Herblore, but unlocking Herblore would make me very, very pleased. Let's just go ahead and roll the chunk. Let's see what happens. It's been like a month since I rolled a chunk here because of my break. Oh. Okay. Berthorpe. I have this as a silver heart. That's like my 6th most wanted chunk. Turiel's here, which I think means I can get out of my lizard task. It's going to reset the Slayer task streak, but who cares, I guess. It's nice to finally have a way out of that. I'm not going to be able to complete the chunk because 3 quests start here. The Tale of Two Cats, we're going to be stuck on that for a really long time. Oh, actually, did that just need Sophonim? For some reason, I assumed that had way more chunks. Yeah, I'm actually pretty close to Sophonim, so... Death Plateau, though, is probably going to be a while. Yeah. Pearl Stronghold is going to be a while. But getting to Berthorpe means that we can do the Rogue's Den, which I need to figure out how I'm going to rule on the Rogue's Den. I have to get agility to 50 before it matters. So I guess I now have 2 reasons to try to start lamping agility, the Falador course and this guy. So I have tons of time to come up with a ruling there. I don't think... This is an interesting chunk. I think by far the most important thing about it is that I can, you know, resume doing Slayer, which is kind of huge. And I have an oh shit button now in case I get assigned a task that I otherwise can't do. I guess that's probably, I mean, Slayer points are important, but I think it's probably better to not be blocked on Slayer forever. So we'll see how I end up handling that. Just looking at other things in this chunk. Yeah, I think the most significant thing is the Slayer part. Everything else is going to require more chunk unlocks to do anything with. This also gets us further up here, which is kind of neat. I can roll into the Warriors Guild, which I think we're close to being able to enter if we can't enter it already. I have to double check the requirements for that. I think, again, the plan with the Warriors Guild, I can only kill each of the Cyclops once per cycle, but if I were to get a Hill Giant task, I could complete my task there, and that still wouldn't be anywhere near enough kills to get a Dragon Defender probably ever on this account. Yeah, so Berthorpe. This is one of the ones I wanted. This is going to be great. I'm excited to be able to do Slayer again. I guess a good time to remind you of my Slayer rule. I can do Slayer at each of the masters I have access to once per cycle. So I can do Spria, I'll be able to do Turiel, and I'll be able to do Vinaka. And I guess technically Krystilia, I haven't been taking the Krystilia task, but I think you can use Turiel to reset a Cristelia task. So I can try taking a Cristelia task, see if I can do it, and then reset it, and just basically not care about my Slayer streak until I have enough chunks that I can actually start building up Slayer points. And when I receive a task, I get to do the whole task. Like, it temporarily pauses monster exhaustion during it. Otherwise, Slayer is not a realistic skill at all. I love Chunk Picker V2. This tool is amazing. Okay, so this is the list of tasks I can get from Turiel and whether or not I can do them. So I can do most of them. I could still get blocked because Turiel can technically assign lizards, ice fiends, dogs, crawling hands, and banshees. I'm not actually sure what yellow means versus green. It might mean that like the enemy is technically in the chunk and is maybe accessible with ranged attacks. Like that's what's true with ice fiends. I'm pretty sure it's true with dogs because I can hit jackals across the chunk border. I'm not sure about lizards, why it's showing them here. Because as far as I know, I'm nowhere near lizards. Like, if I look on the map link here, I can get here, and it says there's 2 lizards in the corner here, but I don't think I can shoot them over this river. If I'm able to, then I could have done it many episodes ago and advanced my Slayer task, but I don't know. I guess if we get lizards again, I'll look into it. So yeah, anyway, Slayer's back on the menu. This is really exciting. Thanks everybody for watching. We'll see you next episode in Burthorpe. Bye.